And good morning, everyone. Welcome to our inaugural Shark Sports Wrap. I'm Tony Segreto along with Chad Robinson. We are so happy that you are with us on this beautiful Saturday morning. 6:40 a.m. Sports. We want to thank you for making the switch. This is the first of 15 and hopefully more. We're going to be talking about athletics here at Nova Southeastern University. We could not be happier that you're joining us here. And for those of you who may be new to Nova Southeastern University, we hope that you're with us every Saturday morning from 8:30 to 9:30. We're going to be with you talking about all the sports we have here, from basketball to softball to baseball to everything that we have going on here. We certainly have a lot to talk about. We have great student athletes we're going to bring on board, and a lot of athletes who have since graduated and are doing quite well in professional sports as well. Joining me, Chad Robinson. Chad is our public address announcer here at the Don Taft University Center. And for those of you who have never been to the Davie campus, you really should take the time and effort to stop by here to see the Don Taft University Center. It is a jewel here in Davie, one of the best facilities around. Chad, it's great to have you. We have a lot to talk about because there's just so many great stories here at NSU.
Yes, it's it's one of the great things about being in a conference like the Sunshine State Conference, because you get to see a lot of the teams over and over again. And I think what is really going to be great about this opportunity for NSU is to really show what the sports program here is now and what it's going to be very soon.
Well, I think what's important is that we have a lot of Division I universities that surround Nova Southeastern University, and we're a Division school with a Division II sports program, but one of the top Division II sports programs in the country. And I think that's the story we want to get out, especially for people new to the program. I mean, it's a great product. I mean, we're going to have J.D. Martinez on in just a few minutes. Here's a rookie from Nova Southeastern University, now with the Houston Astros. His first time up, he not only gets a hit, but he knocks in a run. I mean, this guy is living a dream, and he's a Nova Southeastern University graduate. I mean, just one of the many great stories. Three-time national champion in golf. I mean, we have a four-time player of the year. These are great stories that a lot of people in South Florida need to know about. But the bigger story beyond the athletic side is how well we do in the classroom. And I think that that's what makes Nova Southeastern so special, that we are truly promoting student athletes with the student emphasis there.
Yeah, and I think that's a big difference between Division I and Division II, absolutely, is that you get the quality and caliber of athlete that could easily go to a Division I school, a bigger school, but you also get the intellectual side of that athlete as well, that really translate itself into a physical manifestation on the court or on the field or in the swimming pool, and all the great facilities that we have here at SU Arena at Don Taft.
Yeah, it's a great story to tell, and I'll tell you what, to amplify on the story, why not bring in the man who's in charge of all these athletes? Athletic Director Mike Momney is joining us here, and Mike, what a pleasure and what an honor not only to have you, but that Nova Southeastern has partnered with 640 AM Sports. It's a great opportunity for us to get our story out there, and to have you kind of ride this and drive this train to make sure this would happen was big for this university and certainly big for our athletes.
Well, thank you, Tony, and certainly this first show, we've been looking forward to this date for a long time. It's been part of our vision and part of our strategy, actually over the last couple of years, to look for an opportunity to partner with a commercial radio station to be able to tell our story. And here at the university, a lot of people around the community refer to us as the best kept secret in Broward County. But since I've been here, coming in here in 2000, just as a baseball coach, we've always looked at that. But also, I think that's being pushed forward with our administration, our new president, Dr. George Hanberry, and not to be the best kept secret in Broward County. But the opportunity to partner with 640 AM radio is just a great opportunity. I think that just speaks volumes that we will be able to broadcast our men's basketball games this year, as well as do the Shark Sports Wrap. So we're looking forward to it.
Let's talk about the athletic program and how far it's come since you arrived, and how well we're not only doing on the field but in the classroom. And I know that's a source of pride for you.
It is. You referred to it a little earlier, and I think if you were thinking about NCAA Division II, you think about balance, and balance both in the classroom and on the field. And we're certainly proud of that. The moniker, which we certainly believe in, is that we chose Division II. And we chose it because at this time, it is important for us to have that balance, both with the student and the athlete. Very proud to say, outside of all the hardware that you can go up in the club room and see, and the 5 national championships, 3 of which are team, 2 of which are individual in rowing and golf, that's all great. 14 conference championships, but more importantly, and as the director, we have a lot of good people in place, but I'm equally as proud to say that for the last 10 years, our student athletes have achieved a 3.0 or better as an entire athletic department. And maybe more importantly, the growth of this athletic department since 2002, when we went into the NCAA from NAIA. Back in 2002, we had about 145, 150 student athletes. Fast forward to 2011, this fall here, we're into about 365 student athletes with 17 programs. So it not only speaks to the balance and the emphasis of the student athlete, but throughout the growth period, we haven't let down our principles in keeping that intact. So I'm so proud of what we've done here over the last few years, and it takes a lot of people's effort to make that happen.
And I think you were telling us earlier this week off air that 27 countries are represented in the athletic program. I think that's pretty remarkable too, is to just not span the county or the state, but actually the globe.
Right, and that's that's equally important. One of our goals is to create some diversity. I mean, we're a diverse campus. Diversity in a lot of sense of the word. But our department is become, and that also speaks to the growth. Because again, in 2002, we were mostly recruiting locally and regionally. And with the efforts of the Board of Trustees and again the executive administration to allow us to have some more recruiting dollars, the coaches have taken it to another level and be able to recruit internationally. So we do have, as you mentioned, I believe it's 27 countries represented, in just in our population of 365, 370 student athletes. So again, that adds to a lot of, to me it's an educational piece, but we are going out to recruit the biggest and the best student athletes and the brightest student athletes, I should say, to come in and participate in our sports program.
And we have a lot of great stories here. We could talk about the golf, and we will get to that, and I'll talk about the success of the baseball program. But one of the things I want to touch on is our swimming program. We started it a year ago, and we bring in this new coach from scratch, and talk about how successful we were able to be in just 1 year.
Well, swimming is a great story, and sometimes, it is a winter sport, so I know we're going to be talking a lot of basketball, but Coach Holly Bonowit-Crone, we actually hired 2 years ago. She was the assistant at the University of Florida. She was an All-American swimmer at the Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. But when we made the decision to add men's and women's swimming, to me, as I remind President Hanbury, anybody that asks me when we start up a sports program, boy, if we could bottle that situation up, just from the conceptualization of, hey, let's start swimming, what's that going to look like, what's it going to cost, how are we going to go about the hiring process, it really, from A to Z, from when we started thinking about it, it just worked out very well. But it starts and ends with hiring the right leader, and that's the right coach, and Coach Holly Bonowit-Crone, with her background, both as a swimmer and her experience at the University of Florida. She also spent some time at the University of Miami, so she's been around programs. She did just a tremendous job. So the way we put that together just shortly, and I know we're going to have her on at a later show, we can get into some details, was the commitment from the university in building a facility. And we have a 50-meter Olympic-sized pool, diving well, well over $3 million. I think it was 3.7 was the ticket on that. So you got to start and end with having a proper facility. Then you go and hire the right coach. So Coach Bonowit-Crone, recruited basically for an entire year prior to fielding a team. So 2 years ago, she was just in the recruiting mode. Obviously, she did a great job. She brought close to 30 student athletes onto campus, men's and women's side. And then in our first year of competition, as you referred to, Tony, last year the men's team won the Sunshine State Conference Championship just in their first year. We also sent
remarkable.
It really is, to come out and compete in a competitive conference, that it's not like we're not in a competitive league. She's very much looking forward to, and they're already off to a great start. We beat Rollins this past week, and then we'll host the Shark Invitational here the second week of December. So great story, done by great people, and again, it was a support by many that made that happen.
I think even on the individual level, it just piggybacking on the swimming, is that she did a great job in getting those athletes that really stand out. I understand that Erin Black and Addison Cates have already qualified for nationals or provisionally qualified for nationals. So not only do you have the great swimming team, but you also have those individuals that stand out and make the name just that much greater.
That certainly helps. A gentleman named Jorge Hospina, who was on our team last year. I think he was an All-American in 5 different events, and to get the right kids is certainly the key to all coaches' success. Recruiting's the bloodline that makes it all happen, and I think you'll sort of see that theme as we go through this. But great coaches can be great coaches, but if they don't have great players, they're not great coaches. So,
and you, as a former baseball coach, which we will get to sometime later in this show, if not this show, another one. But let's talk about basketball, because we're going to be doing 20 basketball games here on 640 AM Sports. Men's basketball. Men's basketball is big here on campus, and we have a brand new women's basketball coach who comes here with just a great history and a lot of fire in making this women's basketball team also very special.
It's in a very exciting time of year, and for me, and I think I could speak for a lot of my peers and certainly executives around campus, but for me, this is the most exciting, most anticipated season in both the men's and women's side in a long time. Certainly since we've opened up the Don Taft University Center on the men's side, and I know you'll have Coach Toole and Coach Freeland on a little later. They can talk some specifics, but for the men's side, I'll touch on it briefly. We hired a new assistant coach in Brandon Crone. I mention him because he was the captain of Butler's team for 3 years when they were making their run at the Final Four. So Coach Toole can talk on with him, but he brings some defensive philosophy as Butler brought to the table, and sort of have a player that has played at that level now as an assistant coach and a staff member. Also under the leadership of Gary Toole, we have 9 new players to the men's basketball team. I think you're going to see an exciting brand of basketball. I think you're going to see high intensity defense. We looked well. We looked really well in an exhibition the other day. And on the women's side, Coach Leanne Freeland, who's our new women's basketball coach, looking for great things from her as well.
Well, listen, Mike, it's been a pleasure to have you with us. We couldn't be happier. And I think for those of you listening to our show, this is our first show. For total transparency, I am very honored to be the chair of the Sports Advisory Council here at Nova Southeastern University and a member of the Board of Trustees as well. So it's an honor and a pleasure to have you here, and that we're on the air here at 640 AM, and we're looking for a great year, and certainly a lot more than 15 weeks here on Sports Wrap.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tony, for having me.
All right, we'll be back. We'll be back with more on 640 AM Sports on the Shark Sports Wrap. And welcome back to Shark Sports Wrap. I'm Tony Segretto along with Chad Robinson. You're listening to 640 AM Sports. We want to thank you once again for making the switch. And joining us now is women's basketball coach Leanne Freeland, I should say, from Nova Southeastern University, first-year coach. Leanne, you and I have talked a number of times, and you come here with a great pedigree, and looking at your resume and what you bring here, certainly watching your practices, you have made a mark already as the season gets ready to start.
Well, thanks. We're working hard. Our staff works really hard. Coach Colheim, my assistant, is a diligent worker, and that's why I wanted to bring her with me. And that's priceless for me. She works day and night, as do I, to get our ladies ready. And we look pretty strong right now. I know we definitely have some work to do, but everybody does at this point in the season. And just want to try to get better every day.
Now, how's the transition just coming into a new program, having some players that have been with the program for a while, and then bringing some newcomers on? How has that transition been so far?
I think it's been relatively smooth. I know Mike was very good about allowing the players to have some say in the hiring process. So I reminded them of that a few times already. You guys knew what you were getting here. They really wanted discipline, and that's one thing that I'm really good at is instilling discipline and discipline in terms of doing things the right way, both on and off the court. And they've responded well. We had 11 returners, and we were able to bring 3 of our own recruits in, and all of them have meshed very well. And again, it's still early. We have a lot of work to do, but we show some signs from day to day of being a great team.
Tell us a little bit about your history and why you chose to come here to Nova Southeastern.
Well, it's South Florida, and I love Florida, always have. I had an opportunity back when I was a freshman in college to visit Florida for the first time, and I fell in love. And it was one of those things that it was kind of a dream I had to live here at one point. I had an opportunity after graduating from college to coach at my alma mater at the University of Southern Indiana for 4 years. Great experience, and had a chance to coach against one of the best coaches in the nation, in my opinion, and head coach Carl Smesko over at Florida Gulf Coast University when he was the head coach at IPFW up in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I loved his style of play. So he took the job at Florida Gulf Coast, asked me to be his assistant, so moved down to Fort Myers to coach with him. Learned a lot. He's my mentor. He's an amazing coach. And after that, had an opportunity at the University of Indianapolis as a head coach for 4 years, and planning on being there for a long time. I'm a Midwesterner myself. Had an opportunity to take this job. Had a phone call from an administrator here to see if I would have interest in the job at the conclusion of our season, and it's been a perfect fit. It really has. I had not planned to leave UIndy, but this is a great decision both for myself and my husband. And I knew it as soon as I met the players that this is the job I wanted.
So you're living your dream.
I am.
Not many people can say that.
I know. Hey, life is good.
Yeah, life is good.
What kind of aspects of the game have you been focusing on at the beginning of the season, just to kind of get the girls ready and really off to a good start?
Well, I believe defense is a priority. Unfortunately, last year they were 9th out of 9 teams in the conference in scoring defense. And our goal coming in, it's a lofty goal, but you got to set your sights high and set your vision high to be #1 in the conference in scoring defense. And we've got the personnel to be able to do that. So we've really been hitting home defensive concepts, team-oriented concepts, and also our goal would be to lead the conference in rebounding. And last year, I believe they were 6th with a negative .2 rebounding margin, which is not good. We're undersized, but we're tough and very physical, even though we are undersized. And I think it's something that can happen.
Because you're undersized, and because you want to play this defensive style of ball, on the offense, do you want to play up-tempo?
Yeah, definitely. We've got some players who can run. And Coach Cole Hyman and myself watch other teams, and I even pointed out earlier to our team that, when we watch other teams, we see that teams taking breaks a lot, jogging here, there. And it's like, we're going to be a team that runs everywhere, whether it be to the bench or, to block out or whatever. We've got to be a team that's always moving and always active, and definitely want to push the ball in transition because we have some guards who can really get down the floor.
Now, Chad, I've been blessed. I'm sure you have too. I've been watching some of their practices. I was kind of spying on one practice. And I have to tell you, the culture of the practice, new coach, 11 old, former players that are still here, 3 new players. I mean, you're talking about really having a confluence of styles, egos, and everything try to come together.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this practice, and your practices, I got to believe the game's going to be easy after watching one of your practices.
Well, I hope so. That's our goal, actually, and it's what we tell our players a lot is our goal is to make the practices tougher than the game, so you are definitely ready for that game. And, we have had a lot of moments where we're teaching team chemistry, and it's something I firmly believe in, and they've really bought in. And we've done a lot of research even on giving high fives in games. A team that gives more high fives wins the game. And that is something that was even documented from the Miami Heat Maverick game. Of course, the Mavericks gave each other more high fives, they win the whole thing. So, I know it sounds kind of silly, but we do our research and we really try to find every advantage that we can have going into each game. And I think our team concept and our strong unit as 14 ladies working together is going to be our #1 advantage.
And I think that the toughness of the practice really prepares the players for the Tip-Off Classic, which is basically going on as we speak,
right.
with the consecutive games time after time. How does that relate to fatigue? How are you gonna how are we mentally preparing the players for that type of game after game?
Well, we do things in practice. Obviously, we want to make the drills as competitive as possible and make there's a winner and loser in pretty much every drill. Or we will structure a drill where you have to have 3 stops in a row, and then you get to rotate out on defense. And if you don't get 3 stops in a row, then you just stay in and you keep playing defense. So, just trying to teach some persistence and discipline in that facet. And they've really responded well. Like I said, I think initially the discipline and all the edits that we do, we show them every day before practice, it can be a little overwhelming, but we spent a lot of time with them coming in individually and meeting with us and trying to help some players through some difficult times, because we want to play a certain way. And kind of like as you stated, Tony, we've got some players that have played 4 different styles in 4 different years, and I know that sounds crazy, but we really do. And so it's asking a lot for a player to adjust, especially, we have 5 seniors, so seniors, we're going to do it this way, sometimes it's a little hard for that transition.
Habits are hard to break.
Really it is, but we're definitely persistent.
You talked about the high fives and doing your homework and trying to get any edge. I mean, Don Shula, that's all he talked about, the winning edge. But,
yeah.
John Wooden had this thing where when a guy would make a basket, the first congratulatory handshake or high five went to the player that fed the ball.
Yeah, right.
All about the assist.
Yeah.
And that's how he created this team chemistry
Yeah.
that was, unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I even said that a couple days in practice, or a couple of days ago in practice. I said the assist, the person making the pass to me is just as beautiful as the person who actually made the shot. So let's work on perfect passing, and that's something we really have been working a lot on. But even our screening, we really put a lot of emphasis on players who are willing to screen and get other people open. We even document screens for scores. So if you set a good screen for me and I score, then you get a point for that on our stats. And I think, again, that's another thing that's talked to our players is before every practice, they have the stat line from the previous practice. And they're kind of like, whoa, okay, every move we make, we're getting documented. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
So it's a good way to keep track. I think a lot of the players get a little complacent during practice time. And I think, like you said, that's as important as the game stats. Of course, it doesn't go in the official record book, but I completely agree with that.
Well, I mean, there's a theory that coaches live by. I mean, there's a Bible that every coach has, and certainly right at the head of that Bible is that you play like you practice.
Right.
And if you don't practice well, you're not going to play well.
Right, and over the course of probably the 8 years, 4 years at Florida Gulf Coast, my 4 years at the University of Indianapolis, and then carrying over here, there is a real correlation. And again, those practice stats, that's what you're going to see in the game. And especially if there is a competitive group going against maybe your top 6 or 7, which we do have here, it's going to be very similar. So we do put a lot of emphasis on that and talk a lot about even offensively what a good shot is and what a bad shot is, and break up even points per shot. So we do a lot of homework.
Okay, so the players are feeling the pressure of the Tip-Off Classic.
Yeah.
They have to go out there and perform. Let's talk about the coach.
Yes.
Let's talk about maybe a sleepless night. And I've got to believe that the process in your mind is, all right, did I go over everything that I should have gone over?
Right.
Did I prepare them properly? Are they going out there with everything they need to have to win this game?
Right, I agree. Normally, early in the week, say we play on Wednesday, early in the week I'm very stressed out, kind of like, maybe you're seeing now. But
just noticed a little bit.
Yeah, right. But then on game day, normally that's when I can relax and just kind of enjoy the day with our players, and usually the pressure's off at that point. And I was fascinated when I became a head coach that that's the way it is. Early in the week you're stressed. By game day, there's just a certain calm, because we work really hard on the front end to make sure we are prepared, and I think that's where that peace of mind comes from.
Now, were you personally familiar with the Sunshine State Conference before you came down here and watched their style of play, and
Yes.
familiar with the teams?
Yes, definitely. When I was at Florida Gulf Coast, we were Division II at the time, and we had an opportunity to play a lot of the Sunshine State schools, so there was some familiarity there. But when I was at my previous institution too, we took 3 trips down here, and I think we won 5 out of 6 games on trips down here. And again, I guess in the back of my mind, maybe I was plotting. I don't think it's an accident I ended up back down here, but it's been a great transition.
Well, we're so pleased to have you here on this campus, and we really are urging a lot of people. For those of you who may be listening to us for the first time or just hearing about our basketball program here, it's a great style. We'd love to have people come out and watch us, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we welcome everyone. I think you'll be excited about the product we put out there, and we take a lot of pride in what we do. And we have put an emphasis on recruiting local talent. We do have one freshman Danielle Robinson from South Broward, and looking to sign more from the local area.
All right, Leanne Freeland, the head basketball coach, the women's basketball coach here at Nova Southeastern University. Thank you so much for joining us. Joining us now is the head basketball coach, head men's basketball coach at Nova Southeastern University, Gary Toole. And first of all, we're happy that you're here with us, and we're so thrilled that at 640, 20 of your basketball games are going to be broadcast live on 640 Sports, and you open up tonight against Columbus State.
We do, Tony. We play Columbus State at 6 p.m. tonight, and then Valdosta State at 4 p.m. on Sunday tomorrow.
Excited about the season?
Yeah, I am. You know, we don't start the season healthy, and that's always a little bit of a downer for everybody, but you know, as I tell our guys, sometimes you're the pigeon and sometimes you're the statue, and right now we're probably the statue. But,
I have to remember that one.
but I also don't think in our sport that anything's ever been won of significance in November, December. So, you know, we're building and pointing toward the end of the year, and we're looking forward to getting some guys back and healthy in December. And in the meantime, as I said to our kids yesterday, ability has nothing to do with opportunity, and we've got a great opportunity this weekend. We're excited about it.
What's the biggest difference you've seen between last year's team and this year's team so far?
Well, right now we're without our starting small forward, power forward, and center. So the biggest
That's a nice way to start the season.
That's a big difference.
And probably our starting two guard is out. So with 4 of the guys that we projected to be starters not in the lineup right now, it's a little bit different and difficult to evaluate. But the biggest difference in our team, I think, this year is our guard play is much better. We have 3 guys who can play the point guard position. 2 are junior college transfers, and 1 is a freshman from California. And I like all 3 of the guys, and I think they bring something different to the table, and I think they're all 3 excellent passers, and you know, we've lacked that. So I'm excited about those 3 kids. Louis Schonar is from Lincoln, Illinois. He's a junior, and he led Lincoln College to the National JUCO Championship the last 2 years. And one of his teammates signed with Florida State, Keel Turpin, who was the son of the former Kentucky and NBA player Melvin Turpin. And Louis got experience. You know, he's won, and we hope he brings that winning attitude and that winning confidence to our program. And so far, he's shown that. Tim Traversa is a unique package. He's a 6'3", 225-pound point guard who we can play at other positions, but he's at his best probably when he's at the point because of the mismatches he creates for people. And he's a junior out of Chicago, and we really like Tim's ability and what he can give us. And then Justin Jean Gerard is a freshman, 6'3", and about 195. He's from Weaverville, California, which is up in the northern hinterlands, and Justin's grandfather was on the U.S. Olympic team in 1956. He was the second leading scorer on that team with Bill Russell and Casey Jones. So Justin has great bloodlines, and to be honest with you, the guy that probably excites me the most every day in practice is Justin. The things that he does, and his energy and his athleticism really do excite me. So I think he's going to have a great career here, and we're excited about all 3 of those guards.
Now, you talk about great enthusiasm and energy. You had Alex Gines on the team last season who at times could really take over a game, for better or for worse, with the energy that he had. What player do you see kind of standing out in that role this season?
Probably Sean Prattle. And you won't see Sean until the end of November, the 1st of December, because he's out for the first 4 or 5 games. But Sean played 2 years at Eastern Illinois, which is a Division I program. He's also from Chicago, was the starting center at Eastern Illinois, and he's a young guy who could definitely finish. He has great hands. He's strong, and you know, he'll probably be the go-to guy for us. And thankfully, we've got some guards who know that and will get him involved. But I think Sean's going to be a real force for us. And then Rob Huntington's much improved. He played center for us last year. Rob's also out right now. We don't know how long, but he's moved to power forward. And Rob is 6'9", and Sean is 6'8", give us a pretty good power forward center combination, and I think both those guys have had great preseasons.
Well, despite the injuries that you're having to deal with here at the beginning of the season, what kind of what's the style of play that we can expect to see from the men?
You know, Tony, we're still trying to figure that out, to be honest with you, because you know, we've had to adjust what we've done to try to play the first 2 or 3 or 4 games without some guys. And you know, if I had to guess, I'd say that we probably won't run, although we have some depth. I don't think we'll be a fast-breaking team. I think we'll be more of a grinded-out half-court team that tries to score in the paint. Maybe a little bit of an old-fashioned basketball team in that regard. We're not as good a three-point shooting team as we were last year, probably because of the loss of John Brooks. He graduated and after being, I think, 3rd or 4th in the nation in three-point shooting. And with Jacob Reed on the sideline, you know, we think he's a two-guard who can do some of the things that John did, but he's missed all the preseason so far with his injury, and it's been difficult to know whether, you know, Jacob's going to be able to pick up that slack that we got from John, or whether it'll be somebody else. Teddy Tassie certainly has an opportunity. He's a senior who returns and can play that position. But I still see us mostly as a half-court, pounded inside offensive team, and a physical, much better man-to-man defensive team than we were a year ago. Last year we had to play zone in large part because we just didn't match up very well man-to-man. But I like our opportunity this year to play man. I think our kids have worked hard at it, and I think we're going to be a pretty good team.
I think the other thing is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of the standout players in the SSC across the board have graduated. You think that makes a difference, or not really, just considering the conference?
No, I don't really think it does. When I look at Rollins, and I watched some tape of Rollins in the exhibition the other day, and they probably have the most talented team I've ever seen in this league.
Really?
Yeah, they've got 3 D1 transfers, and they're long, they're athletic. They're a much different Rollins team than they have been in the past, and much more athletic. And I've not seen anybody in this league in my 8 years that has the talent that they have on that team. So I don't think Rollins is going to miss a beat. And Florida Southern lost a tough game the other night at Miami, but I think they led it most of the way and then finally lost in the last few minutes. So Florida Southern lost a lot of players. They lost 4 guys who scored over 1,000 points in their career, but they seem to have reloaded and are ready for Bear. And Florida Tech has a lot of guys back and has signed us some good players, so you know they'll be good. Eckerd has a lot of guys back, so you know I think the league's going to be tough from top to bottom, and hopefully we'll be in the mix somewhere.
Tell us what it's been like for you, your tenure here at Nova Southeastern.
Really frustrating, Tony. You know, I'm not supposed to complain, but you know, for the last 6 years we've lost 6 starters and for a whole season. And you know, every year we've gone into the season without one of the guys that we counted on, who we thought would be special. And we added it up the other day, and we've lost over 300 games to injuries for starters in those 6 years. And you know, there's nowhere in America you can find any basketball team that's gone through what we've gone through. So that part of it's been frustrating. And you know, we had hoped this year we'd be healthy, but here we start the season in the same situation, and it is what it is. So.
Certainly a test for you.
Yeah, you know, it's a test every year. I feel like we're mixing and matching and, you know, trying to piece together things rather than the team that we have on paper in August always looks really, really good. And the team that we end up playing with in December and January is not the same team we had on paper. And you know, I don't know anybody who's gone through what we've had to go through, but for some reason, we've had those injury problems.
But regardless, you still got to line up and tip it off tonight at 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
right?
we do, and you know, I like the guys we have, and we're going to be good. And it's the thing I try to tell our guys is, you know, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It takes you know a lot of hard work over a lot of months to get where we want to go. And I like our opportunity to do that. We'll get these guys back that are out, and when they come back, we'll be an entirely different basketball team.
Now, are there the short-term goals that you've set out for the team, just even in the non-conference play, that you know you can talk about just a little?
Well, all of our goals are, are the same as they are in practice every day, to be honest, and that is defensive stops. The things that we emphasize are trying to get 5 defensive stops every day, limit our opponents to 8 offensive rebounds, limit our opponents to 10 or fewer free throws in a game, keep guys off the foul line, limit our turnovers to 10 or fewer in a game, and those are the things that we track in practice every day, and the things that our guys have to run for at the end of practice when we don't accomplish those goals. And as for game to game, we're playing in a tournament this weekend with Columbus State, Valdosta State, and those are 2 of the best teams in their leagues, and the University of Puerto Rico Mayagüez. And we opted not to play Puerto Rico Mayagüez because I didn't feel like they were the same caliber as Columbus and Valdosta. Most teams, when they open their season, want to play Puerto Rico Mayagüez, not Columbus or Valdosta. But my philosophy is probably different than most. I believe in playing the best people you can play. I think that's what makes you better and prepares you for conference play. And our 3rd game of the year is at Northwood, and they're ranked #1 in the nation in the NAIA. And Rolly Massimino has, I think, 4 starters back who've been there, who started for 4 years. So that's going to be a real difficult game for our guys too. But again, if you don't play good people, then you don't have an opportunity to find out what your weaknesses are in the areas that you need to improve in. And if I'm a competitor, and I am, then I want to play the best. So I hope our guys feel that way.
Well, we thank you for joining us, and we want to remind everyone that you can listen to Shark Basketball right here on 640 Sports. Tip-off time tonight is 6 o'clock right here at 640, and if you can get out here to the Don Taft University Center, we'd love to have you out here because it's going to be a great game. And Gary, we're great friends, and we're happy to have you here, and good luck. And despite these injuries, we're going to overcome them and have a good year.
We will do that.
All right. Good.
Thanks a lot, Tony.
Thanks a lot for being with us.
Thank you, Jay.
All right, you're listening to Shark Sports Wrap. We'll be right back on 640 Sports. Thanks for making the switch. And welcome back to Shark Sports Wrap. I'm Tony Segretto along with Chad Robinson. So happy you're joining us here on this beautiful Saturday morning, 640 AM Sports. We want to thank you for making the switch. And we are so pleased to have with us now as our guest J.D. Martinez, NSU alum, and now, happy to say, the starting left fielder of the Houston Astros. J.D., it's so nice to see you again, and it's good to have you here this morning.
I see you as well.
What was it like? I mean, here you are, you get an opportunity. I think we should tell people that, Chad, that he gets up to the plate for the first time in the majors, right? And you rip a RBI double, and you find yourself there on second base. You come in and score, and Prince Fielder's sitting there, congratulating you. Take us through that moment.
Well, I mean, it was a pretty emotional time in my life when I'm in the dugout. I arrived kind of like late to the field. I was expecting to start, and the head coach tells me, "Hey, you're not playing today. I want to let you get prepared for the game. I think it's not fair to you if we rush you in." All right, so around the 7th inning comes in, and they're like, "Hey, start getting ready because the pitcher spot's coming up," and I'm like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah, there's nothing worse than pitching. You haven't been in a game.
Yeah, I'm like, uh-oh. I'm looking around, and right away my adrenaline starts just going to the roof, and I'm just like pacing myself back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then I finally get in the on-deck circle, and I look around, and it's 44,000 people, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I get in the box, and I'm like, all right, let's take a pitch. And he throws me a curveball right on the outside corner, strike one, and I was like, all right, I've seen that before. It's nothing I haven't seen. And then I was like, all right, now we're ready to go. And he threw me a fastball, and I was able to hit it. And when I hit it, I was running. I thought he was going to catch it, and I was like, just as soon as it hit the ground, it was just a relief. It was just like a weight off my shoulders.
Yeah.
And then it was even better when Prince came, and he was just, he came up to me, and he was like, because everybody was asking for the ball, and he's like, was that your first hit? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, dang. All right. He catches the ball. He goes, damn, that was a sexy one too. I started laughing. I was like, I appreciate it. And then that was it. And then just when I got in the dugout, everyone was congratulating me and giving me a high five and everything. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Yeah, he definitely can appreciate a good hit. Prince knows how to hit them. What was the? I want to take a step back. What was the call like when you got the call to go up to the majors?
Well, I was in Midland, Texas at the time, and we were on a road trip for just 4 days, and I just packed 3 shirts and 2 pairs of shorts, really. And we're playing Midland, and I'm coming up to hit, and it's bases loaded, 1 out. and I roll over and I get out, ground ball double play. So I'm furious. I'm like, how are the bases loaded, this and that. So I'm running in, I'm walking to left field expecting my center fielder to pick me up, and my center fielder doesn't pick me up. So I even get more pissed. I'm like, what's going on here? So I walk in the dugout, and our trainer's got my glove in my hat, and he goes to give it to me. And I was like, this, and when I go, and I like miss, he like pulls it away from me. I was like, come on, Eric, I'm gonna be late. Let's go, the pitcher's already warmed up. He goes, sit down on the bench. As soon as he said that, they just called up our second baseman a week ago before that, Jose Altuve, so I knew they were making moves. And I knew that the Hunter Pence trade was coming down to the wire, and I either knew two things were going to happen. Either I was going to be traded or they were going to call me up, because they wouldn't pull me out of the game for nothing. And so right there, my heart started just going out. Everyone's coming up to me like, congrats, congrats. I'm like, congrats for what? Nothing's happened
Just
yet.
hit the double play.
Yeah.
And then they're like, go upstairs and call Ed Wade, our general manager. I was like, oh, great. I was like, well, something good must have happened.
He's already heard about the double play I hit into.
Yeah. Yeah. So I ran up there, and Ed, I called Mr. Wade, and he was just like, hey, JD. I was like, yeah. He goes, well, we decided to call you up to the big league team. You'll be joining the team in Milwaukee tomorrow. I was like, oh, my heart just dropped. And then I immediately just, the joy and happiness, like, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, He goes, all right, we'll give you the flight information tomorrow. So I immediately called my parents and my family and everybody and told them, and they were all going crazy.
That's it. What a great story. And I have to ask you one more thing about that, and then we're going to talk about your days here at NSU. But, baseball players are told, they're taught from early on in their careers, even in the Little League, pitch selection, go up there, be confident, but be relaxed. You can't play with fear, you can't be nervous. You have to just, relax and take that deep breath. How relaxed could you have possibly been that first time up? I mean,
Not at all.
Because you don't want to put failure in your head,
Yeah.
because you become what you believe. But
Absolutely.
you got to be thinking, here I am, I have 44,000 people around.
Yeah.
I got to make sure I'm in the box the right way, make sure my
Yeah.
feet are right.
And the funny thing, everyone knows, everyone on the whole team, the umpires, the catchers, they all know it's your first at bat. They all know they look at the scoreboard, they say 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Like, oh, who's this guy? I mean, it was definitely nervous just going up to the plate, and like you say, it's hard. You get into the box and you got to be confident. You can't lack that, because that's where the pitcher gets the edge. It's hard enough to hit a baseball as it is. Once you put negative thoughts in your mind, it just makes it twice as hard.
Well, let's talk about your days here at NSU and Mike Momini, the athletic director, was your coach. What was it like playing here during your career? You went to Flanagan High School, and it was another Mike Napoli for the Texas Rangers, another Flanagan High School graduate, and Al Avila from McCarthy. I mean, a lot of great high school players in the big leagues. But what was it like here for you at NSU?
Well, I mean, NSU from the beginning, from when I was at Flanagan, I'll take you back there, where we won 2 state championships there, and going into my senior year, I had no idea where I was going to school. We just won our state championship game, and I had no idea. I didn't have any Division I offers. All the JUCOs were full, and I had nowhere to go. And I was doing tryouts and just going around, and Mike Momini saw something in me, and the coaching staff here saw something in me that nobody else saw, and they jumped on it right away. And I tip my hat to them, because they gave me the opportunity to play here, and playing here has made me who I am today. Really, I wouldn't be there without coming to Nova.
What I was wondering, though, is that it's got to be a big difference between playing in the NSU baseball field and Minute Maid Park, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a big difference. Baseball's still baseball, and it's, it has a lot of similarities, and then at the same time, there's a big difference in just everything. The way the game is played is a lot quicker. It's a lot, everything. The players, everyone's the best of the best. That's why it's the big leagues. But there's steps to get there. They weren't just the best of the best overnight, and everyone had their training grounds they had to go through. And for me, it was, it was here, and I give a lot of credit to it. I remember coming in, I couldn't hit an off-speed pitch, and they told me, they're like, you come here, you're gonna learn how to hit off-speed pitches, because that's mostly what they throw here. And then you know, I came and little by little I learned how to hit it. And I give a lot of credit to me being able to hit off-speed pitches now to Nova, because you saw a lot of them and it prepared you very well for it.
Well, it not only prepared you well, and I know you did well in the class.
For me, it was, you know, it was here, and I give a lot of credit to it. I remember coming in, I couldn't hit an off-speed pitch, and they told me, they're like, you come here, you're gonna learn how to hit off-speed pitches, because that's mostly what they throw here. And then
Extremely well here. You have FAU and FIU. Now, let's talk about the caliber of play here at Division II NSU. I mean, for those who like baseball and who love college baseball, it really we asked them to come on out and take a look at this program, because it's a really good caliber of baseball.
no, absolutely.
You know, in this town, and we're gonna speak honestly here. You know, you're battling Division I University of Miami with their long history of national championships, and you know, certainly you've got the great JUCOs that play extremely well here. You have FAU and FIU. Now, let's talk about the caliber of play here at Division II NSU. I mean, for those who like baseball and who love college baseball, it really we asked them to come on out and take a look at this program, because it's a really good caliber of baseball.
No, absolutely. You know, I've played with a lot of Division I players, you know, throughout the minors and going on, and I mean, they haven't showed me anything that I haven't seen here. You know, I've seen great players in the minors, and I've seen great players.
And what kind of off-the-field values did your experience at NSU give you in preparing you for, you know, the major leagues, just life in general?
Well, I mean, it's a very, you know, Nova's very, like, I feel more like family-oriented school where everyone's pushing for each other. You know, there's not that much, like, competition, and everyone, you know, they always encourage, you gotta get your class, you gotta get your work done in school. You know, that's number one, and you know, whatever it might be, if you have to stay after, if you're like, I can't go to practice today, I got to do this, they're all for it. They say, go get it done. You know, you have to do it. And everything is not like what you're doing on the field, what you're doing on the field, what you're doing on the field all the time. So I feel that, you know, that's
Yeah. What I also found is that at Nova, as opposed to a lot of other schools, there's a lot of cross-athlete support. So, you know, at the baseball games, you'll see a lot of the basketball players or cross-country, and I think that's important too, because going off the camaraderie that you were speaking about between the athletes, I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Well, what was it like for you to see, you know, you're a Flanagan?
Not like what you're doing on the field, what you're doing on the field, what you're doing on the field all the time. So I feel that, you know, that's
Yeah. What I also found is that at Nova, as opposed to a lot of other schools, there's a lot of cross-athlete support. So, you know, at the baseball games, you'll see a lot of the basketball players or cross-country, and I think that's important too, because going off the camaraderie that you were speaking about between the athletes, I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Well, what was it like for you to see, you know, you're a Flanagan guy, to see Napoli playing, to see Avila playing? There's a lot of great, you got a couple other alums at NSU that are already playing. And let me talk, I want you to be able to talk to especially some of the young people who might be listening to us. And, you know, baseball is a much different sport than any other sport in terms of, you know, you graduate college in basketball, you're starting to play. Football, you're starting to play. Hockey, they're getting you when you're 16. You have to go through quite a process to get to the major leagues.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's very tough, and I was very Broward County and Fort Lauderdale has come up, and how many players they're producing, and I mean the level of competition here is I feel second to none.
Now let me talk. I want you to be able to talk to especially some of the young people who might be listening to us. And you know, baseball is a much different sport than any other sport in terms of, you know, you graduate college in basketball, you're starting to play. Football, you're starting to play. Hockey, they're getting you when you're 16. You have to go through quite a process to get to the major leagues.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's very tough, and I was very fortunate, thank God, you know, getting drafted by the Houston Astros, because you know, they were struggling at the time, and they were in a youth movement where they're trying to pull everybody up. But I mean,
it's great to have you here. Congratulations. It's a proud moment for all of us here at NSU to see you take the field with the Houston Astros jersey number 14, and we're going to be looking for you starting in left field, and you're carrying that NSU flag proud. So thank you for joining us.
Appreciate it.
All right, J.D. Martinez here on Shark Sports Wrap, 640 AM Sports. Thanks for making the switch, and thanks for listening. We'll be right back. J.D., thank you very much. Chad, I don't know where this hour went.
It was absolutely a great fun. I don't know where it went either. But if I may take a selfish plug and say, come out, see our basketball teams perform tonight in the NSU Arena. Listen to one of the greatest announcers in the Sunshine State Conference.
Is his name Chad Robinson?
It could be. It could be. I'm not going to say anything right now about that, but yes, it is.
Well, I think you all should come out despite Chad Robinson. No. Chad is great. I think you'll enjoy the game. And support both the men's and women's basketball. Come out to see the Don Taft University Center. Remember, Nova Southeastern University is your neighborhood university. Great Division II athletics. I think you're going to really enjoy yourself, whether it's basketball, whether it's softball, whether it's baseball, even go to the swimming competition. But this is the first of many shows here. We're going to be with you every Saturday morning from 8:30 to 9:30. We hope you'll stop by, say hello, and make us a stop on your Saturday morning while you're having coffee. Maybe you're tooling around town, going to Dunkin' Donuts, going to Starbucks, whatever it is, and put us on your AM dial and listen to Shark Sports Wrap every Saturday. Chad, it's a pleasure working with you.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to next week. I'm Tony Segreto. Thank you so much for listening to Shark Sports Wrap here on 640 AM. We'll see you next week.